Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I'm doing these videos. Hopefully you've seen some and liked them. This one is more kind of the personal connection for me, the set of some events that happened in my life that helped me make sense of what I refer to as the monster metaphor. And I'm going to tie them in just to show that it can be part of everyday life, this monster thing. And tie it in into the way the brain works. So, in thinking back about this, where did I first get this? I thought of being 10 and spending the summer with my grandparents on a small dairy farm. And because they had a small one, my grandfather was working, my grandmother was busy, I was alone a lot, and I thought it was great. I fished, I made dams in the stream, I tootled all over the acreage, around the animals, just had a good time. Well, one particular day, I was out near past the dairy barn, and there was a group of cows, and one was kicking the crap out of another one, and I thought, oh, this can't be good, and I ran to find my grandfather and get him to come and do something about this. And he was struggling because he hadn't seen his cows causing this kind of problem that I seem to be concerned about. And as he got closer, he slowed down, he stopped, and just smiled. And I'm looking at him like, Grandpa, aren't you going to do something? And he said, look at what's going on there. That calf, he's a yearling now, is trying to nurse from its mom. And this was her first calf. Now, he's way too big to be nursing. He should have been weaned a long time ago. Yet, he kept pushing for what he wanted. He wanted to keep nursing, and she kept giving in. Well, she's decided it's over. She's letting him have it. Now, she's not mad. She's not chasing him. She's just giving him a good kick if he gets anywhere near that area. Well, won't she hurt him? No, he'll be fine. He's a big bull-headed calf, and he'll finally give up if she's consistent. But he'll get worse, or he'll keep sneaking back and trying to get what he wants, and she'll have to be very consistent for probably a couple of weeks. And he said, she won't do this with her new calves from now on. Every first mom kind of has to learn this lesson. And when they do, the later calves will be weaned properly, and the mom will let them know when they're done. Okay? Well, that made sense. I didn't realize at the time this was going to actually, oddly, have a big impact on me later as a lesson that I use with many people, as well as just in my own life. Another lesson, a few years later, we moved to a new town, and neighbors had horses. I lived in small towns but never was around horses, and they invited me out to ride. And they had 3, big, tall, athletic stud. I was probably gelded, and then a little short thing that was kind of crazy. And then this big, heavy mare, and they said, she's the one for you to ride since you don't have any experience. But you need to let her know you're the rider, you're the boss here. And because if you don't, she will go wherever she wants to go. And she'll stop and start grazing at grass that looks good to her. And if you don't pull up on the rein and give her a little bit of a heel to get her to go and come with us and to go where you want her to go, she'll have her way with you instead of you riding her and being in control. He says, you don't be mean about it, but just know that with every new rider, she does this. And she tests you basically. And if you persist on doing it your way, she'll give up and she'll be good. She's a very good horse. And she did exactly what they said. She wants to head off this way. Oh no, hold it. Come on, we're going this way. And she wants to start eating. Pull the head up. Which kind of another monster in a certain way was my own fear, because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no experience with this. And so, one part of me would kind of think, well, why don't I just let her do what she wants to do? Well, they're heading off. I'll be way behind. And so I had to say, okay, I have to make her do this. And she did. She resisted, and we went back and forth a few times. And then she gave in, and we were good pretty much the rest of the day. Every once in a while, she would do it again. No, come on, let's go. And she was pretty good. As an adult, or I'm the oldest of 5, where I was quite a bit older than some of the kids. And same kind of thing. Kids want to do what they want to do. And if you're trying to go somewhere or do something, if you're in charge and they want to do something that as the parents wouldn't want them to do, then you know how to say no, versus that issue of, well, why not let them? Nobody's around. But I found through my own mistakes that when you let my brother have what he wants, do what he wants, he just gets more bullheaded about what he wants. And so I had to find ways to say no or distract, go do something else that would be okay. But it's easy for giving in, especially if kids throw tantrums, yell, get upset, make promises, try to coax. It's so easy to give in to those things. And it's the monster. They're not being monsters. They just want what they want. That cow isn't planning to be a pill to his mom. They just want what they want. And so it's the parent figure that has to say no. It's the rider that has to say this way to be in control. Now, what about if the monster's just inside you, ourselves? Because that's really the big thing having to do with mental illness or mental health issues, is the monster is in us. We have given in to something we want to do, or we want the experience of. Say, you want to go gambling, but every time I go gambling, I get into trouble. I lose a lot of money, or I drink too much when I drink, or I spend too much if I have that credit card. Eat too much, compulsively eat. If we've gotten into a pattern and we find that we're out of control, we don't plan to make a monster, and there's not some monster in us that causes this. We get into a pattern of giving in to what we want. And learning how to be that parent to ourselves, that coach to ourselves that says, no, the monster will get worse. The cravings will get worse. And on the other end of it, as I've talked about anxiety issues, the monster is avoidance of something that feels threatening, that feels like we could be hurt, that is nervous making, fearful of. And so how do you, especially if you've avoided and avoided and avoided through the years, how do you go ahead and get yourself to do something that in your head you know you should do or you should be able to do? Well, the monster avoidance will get worse. The fear will get worse. And just almost be panicky or full of anxiety to the point that it feels like it's just shut down or completely go into panic. How do you go ahead and push yourself? How do you recognize that monster is the brain's self-protection, versus the other where it's about drinking, gambling, the wanting that's out of control, the spending that's out of control. The want becomes the monster, or the avoidance becomes the monster for anxieties. How do you recognize that isn't you. That's the way your brain wants what it wants. Who doesn't want to feel good? Who doesn't want to have things? Who doesn't want to be protected from fear, from anxiety, from stress? We have to push ourselves to do the right thing sometimes. And sometimes the thing is not doing what we want to do. And other times the thing is getting ourselves to do what we don't want to do. And the key for me is understanding that it's the way the brain is, that part of the brain can't think. And we need to be the in control. We need to hold the reins to push ourselves into doing stuff that we fear doing. But do it slowly, do it under control, do small things first, and learn that you can get through the monster that rears its head in those cases. And the same for not doing things that we want to do, to find that you can. Now, the key to me, is distracting, going the way. If you've decided that your monster is wanting things, and that want gets you in trouble, so you need to not do that. People who focus on not doing get pretty unhappy, and the craving gets worse, the monster gets worse. And I try to get people to direct themselves to, well, what do I want to do more of? Okay, if it's not that, what do I want to do more of? And get yourself to actively do things that are part of the life you want to be more of. And in a sense, distract yourself. But you're building new brain patterns, circuits, so to speak, that aren't the old ones that get you back into doing what you shouldn't be doing. Same for, pushing yourself through fear. Is how do you push yourself through the fear and do more of what you want to be more of, rather than be locked in by avoidance. Very hard to do. Understand the monster gets worse, but like the mare, it'll get worse until it gets better. Yeah, the yearling, the mom had to make it bad in order for the yearling to give up, but then he became more of just like other yearlings. They're going on to closer to adult life over time. How do you do this with your own life? Or how do you do this with your children? Understand the brain. And the brain wants what it wants or is afraid of what it's afraid of, and we have to coach ourselves through to doing the right things and to building good patterns. Now, just like everything else that I've said, if you try any of these things and it just gets too overwhelming, or if you find that no matter what your intentions are, you just don't follow through, can't follow through, that's not a reason to just give up. That's kind of giving into the monster in a way. I encourage you, get help. If you're working, use an employee assistance program if you have one. Get hold of your insurance, find out who are a therapist that you could go to. But I give these ideas to try on, and if you can do them on your own score, that's the thing that is best in many ways. But if you can't, get help, and you're already ahead of the game by trying these things first. Thanks, and keep listening.